Philosopher 80 Jones. Hey, this might be the first time you heard this, but if you hear it again, you know where they got it from. I'ma say that. So note that, okay? Note it. It don't matter, but note it. So what I want to explain to you is this. Right now, we have seen a major shift of polarity, energy, musical talents coming to the forefront, voices of gods, voices of empresses, vibrations from beyond. Guess what? There's nothing new under the sun, okay? Nothing. These are cycles. These cycles have been here, they're here now, and they're going to continue to be here when we gone. If you do the research, back in the 1920s and in the 1930s, right? We had what you call the Harlem Renaissance. If you look it up, the Harlem Renaissance was between like 1920, 1930-ish. It was a prelude or a preclude or antecedents to that, in the 1900s, which means black people or melanated individuals from overseas in the Caribbean were coming out of a mental slavery type of mentality, okay? That was in the 1920s and in the 1930s. Look up Harlem Renaissance. It was instruments. Black women had pride. Black men and women was melanated, was getting along. We even had individuals from other cultures coming from all over the world to Harlem to see what we were doing, to steal what the melanated people were doing, and to capitalize on it. Am I saying that's right or wrong? What I'm saying is that is history. That's not my opinion. It's been proven. That is history. Fact check me on that, okay? Now, in the 1920s and the 1930s, the people that were in power or in charge of that polarity destroyed what was going on during the Harlem Renaissance, pumping in certain type of drugs, pumping in certain type of enforcement. I didn't say what kind. Enforcement. Breaking the people up. Starting fights back and forth. Okay? The main thing I want you to understand, though, is the big wave and big polarity of energy that was coming through in the 1920s and in the 1930s had to be crushed and destroyed. How did they do that? They did it on a minute level, a microeconomic level, which was in Harlem and in other faceted communities that were growing. Also within the country, because other cultures were vibrating with the vibration of the Harlem Renaissance. Music brings unity. I don't care what color, I don't care where you from. If everybody feeling the vibe, they doing this. It brings unity. So what happened in the 1920s and the 1930s? Oh, the Great Depression, right? Where the wealth was concentrated to a point where people were in soup lines, okay? Money, which is energy that people accepted that they needed to have. The Harlem Renaissance was in the 1920s and the 1930s, and so was the Great Depression. The Great Depression revved up in the early 1920s. If you do the research, it was a lot of black entrepreneurs that had businesses, had assets, okay? Assets, not just cash, assets, ownership, product, buildings, cargo, cars, they own mentality. What happened in the 1929, the Great Depression? What did it do? It concentrated the wealth. It took the wealth from everybody and took it back to the people. I ain't even gonna go in. It just got concentrated. I'm gonna leave it like that, okay? And it brought the vibration of the economy down for melanated people, okay? And in that depression, people did get depressed and start using the drugs and using other methods such as crime, which is a lower vibration, to have them survive. That same thing is happening right now. See, they know the cycles. They know these cycles. They know astrology. You know what I'm saying? They know the cycles. So right now, it's a valiant effort to keep the vibrations low. War, turmoil, weather, news, social media, low self-esteem, backbiting. Don't trust your pastor. Don't trust your mama. Rob your grand. You know, I'm not saying to do that. See? Tragedy. Hear that? The vibration of that siren makes you think tragedy, which puts panic in your heart, or I hope he's okay. It takes you from up here, you could be having a great day, to down here. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's cycles. As long as the cycles are controlled, you will be controlled. Until you control your cycle, okay? That's when you will not be controlled by the cycles and the people that's in charge. I ain't even gonna say people.
It will be wise to remember your ancestors. Philosopher A.D. Jones.